Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Grab a cold one, crank up the volume, and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. Here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
It is no block, no rock with the latest appointment of Cornhusker Counseling. Coach Signetti, Big Sig, he smoked that Nebraska pack yesterday.
He smoked it good, too.
Yeah. Do you know how bad I wanted to use that yesterday? Nebraska smoked that Sig pack. You know how bad I wanted to use that? But I couldn't. Okay? Because we're chasing 49.
Yeah. Yeah.
56-7. Just going to sit here. 56-7.
It's embarrassing.
I put down a bunch of synonyms for embarrassing. You guys know what synonyms are. Yes? These are words that are similar to, like, embarrassing. And I'm going to run through these, and I want you guys each to pick your favorite one, okay? Because it's really hard for me to pick a favorite, okay? Feeble, impotent, pathetic, clowned, punked, cooked. What's your favorite one out of all those?
Kyle?
Do you want me to say them again? Because I can.
I think the one that stuck out was empathetic. I think that's mine.
Impotent.
Yeah. Okay. What's that other word mean? Anyway, who cares?
Yeah. But no, we don't have empathy.
Impotent.
Yeah. We don't have empathy for this.
No.
What you got a favorite that sticks out?
For me, it's clowned.
Clowned.
Mostly just because when you said it, Marcus Satterfield's face just flashed in my brain.
Oh, gosh.
Wearing clown makeup?
No, just his regular face.
Mike, do you have a
pathetic? Pathetic is my favorite because I've used that term the entire time I've thought about this game. Pathetic. 2 weeks to prepare in national stage, big noon kickoff. Mm-hmm. Indiana hasn't played anybody. We've got a really good defense.
They still haven't.
They haven't played anybody. And we deliver a pathetic performance.
Triumphs? Question mark?
We won the time of possession battle.
We did?
Oh, is that?
Yeah, we did.
That's insane.
Yeah. That just means that Indiana just
they scored so fast.
Yeah, they didn't need any time to score.
No.
Any positives you can take?
Oh, I got one.
No major injuries.
Oh, good.
There's a triumph.
Okay.
Yeah, we hurt their quarterback. That was a major injury for them, and it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Because their backup can just come in and clockwork.
You want to triumph?
Please.
The performance that our defense put up yesterday will secure Tony White's job security at Nebraska.
I made the same comment during the game yesterday. I was like, well, maybe Tony White's not gone after all.
Hey, there's a silver lining that if you love defensive coordinator Tony White, after yesterday's performance, he will likely still be here next year.
This is the second time that we've said that about Tony White.
Yeah.
The first time was after Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they bounce back for a few games there. And it's like, oh, it looks like the Black Shirts are finding their groove.
Yeah.
And then this happens.
The narrative was like, yeah, we watched the Illinois game and we felt disgusted. I think that was Ty Robinson had said that. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, we felt disgusted watching it back. So like we really went to work. And then they have like the two games where it's like, okay, yeah, they're back. Everything's fine. And then I wonder how he feels.
Yeah.
Now.
I was going to say, yeah, if you're disgusted after Illinois,
dude,
what is this?
Indiana could have named their score. They could have said, I feel like scoring. I want to score 35 today. And they would have scored 35. Like they could do anything they wanted. They made it look so easy. Hot knife through butter. Meanwhile, Nebraska's offense, pulling teeth is one that I like because it's very visceral and it's painful and you can really think about it, right? Teeth freak me out. And so imagine pulling them out of your mouth. That's what watching Nebraska's offense looked like.
One more triumph.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought we were done with triumphs. I'm sorry.
Some of the pressure is now off of this black shirt defense because, that boogeyman, that first rushing touchdown is gone.
Yeah.
And also the second and the third and the fourth.
Oh my God.
The pressure's gone.
They don't need to feel pressure about not giving up a rushing touchdown because you did it 5 times. A tidal wave.
Yeah, I think it was 5.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was 5.
Yeah.
They all just felt the same to me.
The first time it happened, I was like, you know what? It was bound to happen eventually. And then the second, I was like, well, maybe it's a fluke. And then the third, I was like, oh no, we're going to see this all day, aren't we? And then we did. It was just all day.
After a while, I kind of stopped paying attention to how the touchdown happened. I just kind of kept glaring at the TV and I was like, oh, they're in the end zone again.
Oh, there they are.
In the end zone again.
Yeah. So traumas, right? I think.
Can we start on offense?
Yeah. So, Mike, I think you're going to like this.
Oh, sweet.
And we're on Hurrdat, so we cannot cuss. And I'm not going to cuss, but it's going to be really close. It's going to be borderline, Kyle.
Oh, boy.
It's okay. It's going to work. Marcus shat the field. See?
Yeah.
That's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had expressed my reservations about him, especially last year. Just the offense having, no identity and not being dealt the greatest hand last year. And coming into this year, it's like, all right, you got a good quarterback. You brought in these transfer wide receivers. And dude, you see, it's not just this game. It's been the second halves of all the games this year, man.
Well, and it was both halves this game. So
both
halves. It was terrible.
So I was being very open-minded about him this year, and I'm back on the I don't think he's the guy. So what do you guys think about Satterfield? Are we keeping him? Is he the anchor to Matt Rule's foot?
No, I don't think so.
What do you think? What do you think about just this offense in general, guys?
I would say this. I would say there is a reason that Matt Rule brought in Glenn Thomas. And you would like to think that Matt Rule is thinking ahead and thinking, well, if my gamble on Satterfield does not work out, I do have Glenn Thomas here. Honestly, I think we're almost at the point of this season and just how stagnant the offense has been that maybe they let Glenn Thomas call the plays. Like, you got co-OC Glenn Thomas. Mm-hmm. He's not just quarterback coach. I understand it's financial reasons to give him that co-title, but you've got Glenn Thomas in that room that is working with our quarterbacks every day and is supposedly helping scheme up game plans. But for some reason, we talk about the creativity of Satterfield, and I will not discredit him for that. I think he has been very creative at times this year.
Sure.
Now, the issue with Marcus Satterfield is he has no idea how to adjust when they adjust for him. He has no idea the coaching aspect of coaching. He is creative.
That's a big problem.
He is creative as it gets. But I think we need somebody who isn't just creative as our play caller. We need somebody who, if you get punched, you figure out how to punch back. And he has no clue how to do that at all.
Can't even put his hands up.
No.
So, okay. So I think when it comes to Marcus Satterfield, my opinion on it, and this is like the biggest trauma for me, is what did you hear when him and Matt Rule first got here? It was fullback, tight end. We want to be big. We want to be physical. We want to run it at you. Like, that's the team we want to be. We want to be the 49ers, right? And yesterday, down 7-0, you start on the 1 yard line. We'll get to special teams in a minute.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You start on the 1 yard line. There's a 3 yard run by Dante Dowdell. And then following that is 6 straight pass attempts and then a punt. So my question is, and after the game, Matt Rule says, yeah, our game plan coming into this was just to be physical and just get big and get after it. and you're only down 7-0, starting on your 1 yard line, and 6 straight pass attempts. What part of that after that 1 3-yard run by Dante Dowdell, at what point was it like panic mode? We need to start throwing. Like you talked about the identity and not really having one. So my question is, down 1 score, what was it in your guys' brains that was like, oh my God, we need to ditch the game plan and start it's panic mode? Like that's my biggest like trauma and concern leading the rest of the way for the season. That's my biggest concern.
Well, okay, so you brought up this specific instance where they start off with crappy field position. Satterfield can't help that, okay? But I think it just speaks to an overall lack of commitment to the run game, okay? Now you're going to say, well, why should they commit to the run game when your offensive line is painfully average? Like they are literally just there.
They're mid.
They are the definition of mid.
Yep.
Your running backs, mid. Like if you're sat, you're like, yeah, I would love to be a downhill run team, even though I don't think that's his thing.
He doesn't want to be a downhill run team. He
So
says it because Matt Rule believes in that, but I don't think he believes in that.
Right. And so we get into a question of, are we butting heads a little bit here? And so, but how do you establish your run game when you just don't have the personnel to do it? But this goes to my concern about Satterfield is that even if he had the players, I don't think that's his thing. I don't think that's his identity.
No.
So I say move on. But I said that last year too. But anyway.
Yeah, I for sure think it's time to go. Mike, I think you're right saying that he is creative, but I think sometimes his creativity gets in the way of winning football games.
Yeah.
Like we get cutesy at times where we don't need to. And the times where we do need it, when we don't even need to be creative in some of these situations. I think yesterday our longest shot downfield was like 21, 22 yards. Was that our longest shot downfield?
I mean, that seems correct. I mean, again, I have not rewatched this crap
I'm
show.
not rewatching.
Thank God I'm not. No.
Usually I do.
Yeah.
I can't. I cannot stomach watching that putrid football team yesterday.
Right.
It's terrible.
There were so many things that, like Jared, you said, if we're not going to be able to establish the run game for whatever reason, whether it's the offensive line, maybe we don't have faith in the running backs, maybe it's just not the time to do it and that situation in the game. But if we're not going to establish the run game, why are we also not establishing a passing game? We can't do either.
Well, look, you're not committing to the run. You can't run.
Yeah.
And so that defense just tees off on Dylan.
Yeah.
And maybe there's also an aspect of this where you have Dylan and maybe you're scared of Dylan's dad, Dominic, coming into your office going, why aren't you using my son enough? So maybe there's some aspect of that. Of hey, why aren't you having my son pass more? What's wrong with you? Maybe there's some fear.
He's slinging it. He threw it to the other team a lot. That was
oh God,
back-to-back games where Dylan looked like a true freshman quarterback starting in the Big Ten. So
which
he did not look comfortable.
Nope,
at all.
Nope.
We expected these growing pains. I did not expect these growing pains to hurt this much.
Right. It's we talked about it all offseason that there are going to be moments like this. But it's just when it actually happens in real time, it hurts. It's maddening, man. And I fear that like the only way the change can ever be made with the OC is if Dylan goes up to Rule and says, if I don't have a different OC, I'm gone. Like I know that sounds very dramatic, and we probably people in the chat saying, "Settle down, chill out."
I don't know.
Okay, so listen, that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
So actually, this is a good time to go to the chat. BA drops in a $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, Coach BA. Love
Shout
you.
out BA.
He says, my issues with offensive staff are much deeper than play calling. There's no identity, regression at all positions, and that is on SAT. It is much deeper than play calls to me. The entire staff needs looked at. And so to your point, and we'll get back to BA's comment here, but to your point about what's Dylan's psyche. We're here at Cornhusker Counseling. That is part of our job is to what's the psyche, right? And my concern is, we were kind of talking about this before the episode, was if I'm Dylan Raiola, a 5-star that could have gone anywhere, and I'm watching Ohio State versus Oregon, this high-flying, prime-time, big stakes game where there's 800 yards of offense and it's just a shootout, or you're watching like Alabama, Georgia, same thing, high stakes. And then you're playing Indiana and you guys are trying to throw the ball 49 times and you've got no run game and you get blown out 56-7. What's the psyche? That's what I want to know. But yeah, back to be a coach's show. I think we all here agree.
Regression.
That's a good word.
Me.
That's a good word.
That word scares me, especially with this quarterback. Regression and playing tentative and not looking comfortable. I don't like that. Sorry, Connor, go.
No, I actually you touched on it perfectly. I think what BA means is not regression season over season, but week over week. And I think he's 100% correct on that. I don't think there's a single unit out there that I can say, yeah, no, we improved this week.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one.
Well, and that's like one of the things before Matt Rule got here. And one of the reasons Donnie Raiola got retained is we saw progression even when there was a bowl game in doubt and everything else that was happening. Our O-line was getting better at the end of that Mickey regime.
Yeah.
And the O-line really has not gotten better. I don't know if they've gotten worse, but they definitely have not gotten better.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Mike. Who do you feel like on that O-line, who do you think is the best one? Who's the best player?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe Ben Scott. Maybe.
Ben Scott, huh? Transfer?
Yeah.
Mazuka?
Transfer.
Yeah.
And speaking of Mazuka, he was playing left tackle yesterday.
Right.
They brought him in to come in for Gunnar Gatula and play left tackle for a couple series. That situation is maddening. We talk about no identity and not being able to run the football. When we were able to run the football this year, early in the season, it was when we had Micah Mazuka starting at left guard. They have guys shifted all over the place on the offensive line right now. And they have zero identity. And that's an issue. And I don't know if that's on Donnie, if that's on Satterfield. I don't know who that's on. But it's an issue.
It feels like, I mean, we've said it like 5 times already. No identity. There's no method to the madness. This is what you look like coming off a bye?
So bad.
Oh my God. Indiana's coaching staff. Holy crap. I guess we just hire them. We just hire Indiana's coaching staff because that discrepancy was, dude, what the heck? Coming off a bye, this is what you look like.
Yeah. And I mean,
I don't even know what to say.
It's a first year head coach with a bunch of transferred JMU players at a basketball school.
It's insane. Insane.
I'll point out.
Put it that way. That's excellent.
JMU was 11-2 last season. So
okay,
these kids from JMU are not scrubs.
Okay.
Signetti is not a scrub.
Okay, go look at their recruiting rankings. Go look at where these players are and how talented they are to their opposition.
I'm looking at where they are right now, and it's 7-0 and the Big Ten and a realistic CFP bid. That's what I see.
I know, and yeah, I think there's a component of this where, of course, we sit here as passionate Husker fans who give our time and money, and we can't imagine Indiana being on that level of Nebraska. Like, what is happening? Like,
Stop
why are
losing
they
to basketball schools?
Yeah.
Nebraska,
But we got to just stop. We just got to stop doing that. We got to stop it.
Nebraska has been.
These teams are better than us.
Yeah. We have spent so much money. We have some of the finest facilities. We have a 5-star quarterback.
The best.
Yeah. And then you've got Indiana who just said, what if we cared about football? And now they're 7-0.
It's insane.
And they embarrass us.
Dude, yeah, I think when you're talking about like the JMU thing and all this other stuff, like, look, there's one thing about you go in as an underdog on the road. It's a 6.5 point favorite, right? And you lose a game, everybody's not like freaking out, right? Like Indiana, they're good, they're 7-0, all this other stuff. But when you're a 6.5 point dog and you lose 56-7,
yeah,
and it looks like that. That is where it's like, whoa.
Why
after a bye week?
Like, so I know we're sticking with the offense, okay? It's just, why is it so hard? to get positive yardage.
Yeah, it looks
Like, why is it so hard?
Yeah, it looks hard.
Meanwhile, Indiana's offense is just
clicking, just constant,
unstoppable. Apparently,
it's unfathomable to me. They could just do whatever they wanted. Against our black shirts defense, and we'll get to the defense, but it's just on offense. Where's Nair? Where's Banks? Fedoni had his best game as a Husker, but it's just okay. And like, where's everybody else at? We talked about we had weapons, right? Beginning of the season after UTEP, we're like, oh my God, we got weapons. Where the F are they? Where's Nair? Where's Banks?
Milk carton.
Maddening. Meanwhile, Indiana's mid freaking receivers. I know I shouldn't say that. They're fine.
They're better than us. They're better.
I can't call them. I call them mid hours before the game.
They could do whatever they wanted. Oh my God.
And not to mention, Curtis Rourke, that dude was dropping dimes.
He did.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I'm talking, he's throwing over the shoulder balls right on the sidelines. He's hitting them on their breaks. He's
back shoulder throws.
It was
I thought,
a clinic.
I thought for sure he was a fraud. And boy, did he teach me.
Dude,
yeah.
One of our keys going in was force Indiana into 3rd and 9s. And I swear to God, first quarter, it's Indiana 3rd and 9, and we're going, yeah, okay, good.
Perfect.
Just Indiana wide receiver makes a play. And it's like, what do you even do?
What do you do?
They're making plays, man.
We had a friend of the program that had former Nebraska pitcher, Kyle Kubat. I ran into him last weekend at a volleyball event, and he told me, he sees me and goes, Mike, we're going 1-5. We're going 1-5 in these last 6 games. And I said, why do you say that? What do you say that?
Wow.
Well, he messaged me yesterday and said, 1-5, LOL. He says, unfortunate that Indiana, Ohio State, UCLA, and USC all have bye weeks before they play Nebraska. So there's a fun stat for everybody.
Right.
That is
every team we play for the next 5 weeks or 4 weeks, they're all coming off bye weeks when they get to play for Nebraska. They get to play against Nebraska. Not like they need it, but they get an extra week to prepare for Nebraska.
They're already out coaching our staff with just regular weeks.
We saw what Indiana did with an extra week to prepare for Nebraska. What do you think Ohio State's going to do?
Stop.
What do you think USC is going to do? What is UCLA going to do? Wisconsin
might be the worst counselors in the world.
I'm sorry. We are doing a very bad job at counseling, but I think part of counseling is just getting everything out on the table.
That's right.
Yeah. I think that's the key to counseling.
This is phase 1.
Yeah, listen, you identify the problem and we work through it.
And there's a lot of problems to identify.
Yeah.
So we're going into that. But I just thought that was interesting is we have a former Husker that, although it was baseball, but he's been in the program. He follows the program very hard. And
very hard.
He does.
He follows
it is very hard to follow the program.
It is.
It's hard to follow, and I follow it hard.
He says 1-5, and I said, "You got to be crazy, right?
God.
1-5." And I hope he's not right.
Well, listen. So we're 25 minutes deep, and realistically, because we're not talking about a whole lot of triumphs,
there is no triumphs.
Yeah, we've probably got like 30 minutes to talk about the defense and special teams. But I just wanted to mention back to my point about like right after that like 1 yard line run by Dowdell. The 5-6 pass attempts immediately following it, down 1 score.
Yeah.
Nebraska had 46 pass attempts and 29 rushes. So in what world would that prove to you that there's any sort of like commitment to being big and running the ball? Like, I know we keep saying like, we need to figure out the run. Well, you're never going to figure out the run if you're not doing it. You're not even trying it. 46 to 29. Indiana was 30 pass attempts for 33 rushes. Like, that is a perfectly balanced game. That's exactly what I would want out of a Nebraska Cornhuskers football team, especially with a 5-star quarterback.
And what did you say the number was? 49 and 26 for us?
46 and 29.
46 and 29.
That's insane.
Well, look, it doesn't help when you're down 49-7.
Chasing 49.
Right. But listen, regardless, that's part of the reson why you were in that position in the first place.
Right.
Yeah,
you slow the ball game down by running the ball.
Right. That game would not, even if we got blown out, the game would have never got out of hand like that if you would have actually just you had to do exactly what we said to do. You have to control the clock, time of possession, run the ball, be the more physical team. They did none of that. somehow we won TOP. That's because they scored so fast.
Yeah.
So
that is mind blowing that we won TOP to me.
That's
Losing
insane.
by 49 and you win
God.
time of possession is crazy.
I mean, Matt Rule talks about being the most physical team on the field, and it's just you watched that game yesterday. It's all, God, I don't want to say it's hollow already. It's all hollow. Are you kidding me? Like Indiana, straight up and down, dude, dominated your ace, dude. They shoved it up your freaking hole, man. No, you talk about being the most physical team. And we watched that. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I just don't know. As your counselor, I don't know how to advise you.
How many times over the last year and a half have we talked about Matt Rule getting up for these pressers or, in the offseason, giving interviews and saying, he's a genuine guy. Like he genuinely believes what he's saying. And now, like you said, it's kind of like, is this coach speak? And he's just really good at selling it to us because it's always felt like he has meant it. I've never felt like it wasn't genuine, but it's getting kind of to that point where it's like, maybe he's just really good at selling us on this picture.
Well, hey, we talk about him being genuine. You hear him yesterday. Not only is he apologizing, he's saying, I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that, which in itself is cringe as hell. But then he says, I did not see this coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm listening to it over the Huskers app on my phone. And I hear him say that out loud. I'm like, are we seriously going to have to use that audio clip for the next 10 years? Because this regime didn't work out. And it's like, oh, we should have seen this coming.
We're the Huskers.
Matt Rule says, I didn't see this coming. And
we
are the
can't
Huskers.
overreact. I will say, I know that we're not, and we'll get into your 5-3 thing, but like, this team is one win away from a bowl game, which big picture, that's progression for this team. If we make a bowl game, we are doing something we haven't done since 2016. So, yes, that game is terrible. And I do not like Matt Rule's comments and that he's apologizing and everything else. I mean, I do appreciate him apologizing because he does know that is unacceptable to the fans.
yeah,
And
but it's just,
don't be sorry, just win. Or just don't get blown out.
At one point last season, did we not have 5 wins and several games to go?
Yeah.
indeed.
So being one game away from a bowl game is not new to us.
No.
It's not new to us.
Yeah, you couldn't even make it interesting.
No.
No interest whatsoever. It wasn't even competitive.
Yeah.
Okay. Defensively. Speaking of comments,
Jamari Butler.
let me read it because I know you guys have heard it already, but sometimes things don't go our way and our heads get down.
Is this Pee-wee? Is this Pee-wee?
Sometimes things don't go our way.
That's football.
Now, if you lost by 3 or 7 and you said sometimes things don't go our way, sure. You know what? Yeah, maybe something just came up, You lost by 49. This isn't sometimes things don't go our way. The entire game did not go your way. You did nothing.
Nothing about it.
Yeah. Like our heads get down. They should be, honestly. Like right now, going into this week, you should be sad. You should be angry because you've earned it. You earned it.
You feel like crap.
This is
And you
another part
earned
of the
that.
counseling is embracing our emotions.
Yeah.
You learned it.
Yeah.
You lose.
You get nothing.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
I mean, that is the most patty cake response.
It's just you're a game away. You're a win away from making a bowl game. And like you have this cool opportunity to beat a ranked team
on the road.
You come out with zero juice. You look bored. You look lethargic. You look sleepy. Dang, dude. And then you come out with this comment. Oh, we're moping around. We're sad for ourselves. It's up. How many times do I have to say it, guys? Oh my God. This is what we've been. It's mental. Put the camera on somebody else. I can't do this. I'm. You know what I'm reacting like? I'm reacting like the team right now.
Yeah. It's just, I think before the season we had this discussion.
I don't want to pod anymore.
Yeah. We had this discussion about how we thought this team was mentally much tougher than they had been in previous years. And a comment like that, I shout out Coach BA. Is that some mental regression? Like, have we gotten weaker?
I need to hear somebody in the chat defend that. Please defend that comment. Oh my God.
Kyle,
I'm here for it.
Is there any positive patties in the chat?
No. Okay, so we've got 325 people watching, and the chat is what going off?
Oh no,
on us? No.
Oh, okay,
agreeing.
Come
with
on,
us.
no,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah, no. Okay, so
We got to be wrong about something, right?
I mean, Dark Husker from Twitter comes in and says that fullback talk was all lies. And that was something last year. I know we're kind of on the defense now, but that was something last year where we were like, we're not seeing a whole lot of fullback. We're not seeing a whole lot of like I formation. We're not seeing a whole lot of like getting under center. And then this year it was like, well, you got Dylan Raiola, so we're changing things up a little bit. You know,
They made Janarian Bonner a fullback. Does that tell you how serious they were taking the fullback? They made a wide receiver into a fullback last year.
Yeah.
And sold it to you. They were like, yeah, we're going to use the fullback. I think Janarian Bonner's going to be an NFL fullback. And then the next year, they move him back to wide receiver. I'm not talking about like a tight end going to fullback or a fullback going to tight end. We're talking about a kid that was recruited to play wide receiver in the Power 5. And they say, Janarian, you're a fullback now. And he says, okay. Okay. And then he didn't do anything as a fullback.
Yes, wait, Coach. What?
He scored more touchdowns this year as a fullback than he did last year. And he's not a fullback anymore. Oh.
So yeah, anyway, I mean, yeah, we're kind of on defense now. So,
I felt like I was watching a Kevin Cosgrove defense.
I agree. Like the last time we wore those whites.
Yeah.
Literally, the last time we wore the surrender whites, and everybody's like, oh, the jerseys don't matter. They shouldn't. But apparently they do.
But they do. We make it matter.
We make it matter. The surrender whites were in full force.
That's the other thing, too. You have the chance to change the narrative. Matt Rule can't beat ranked teams. Nebraska in general can't beat ranked teams. You're wearing surrender whites today. You have the opportunity, the golden opportunity to break down all those superstitions, all those negative marks on your program, and you're moping around. Just like the good old days, moping around. And when I say the good old days, I mean, like recent good old days.
I'm so annoyed with the sense like we don't win in whites. That's a fact. But like you could have made it close and I would have been like, well, at least they didn't surrender. We surrendered almost immediately.
Literally surrendered.
They're like, we're waving the white flag.
Like dude, almost immediately.
We're kicking the ball to you. Yeah, I'm waving the white flag. I'm actually going to step out of bounds at the 1 just because.
Oh my God.
Just because. I'm trying to be smart and do the whole out of bounds, catch the ball, get it at the 35. But I'm not coached well enough to even know how to do that right.
Yeah. You ain't beating the surrender white allegations. That ain't happening.
This defense, and look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a freaking genius, okay? But I see our freaking defensive backs just give all this cushion.
I just don't get that.
Man.
And it's just over and
Every
over
time.
and over and over and over. Change something. They are running through you. They are gashing you. Do something different. You're letting them just do whatever they want.
They're 10 yards off of you, and they're going like this. Boop. Thanks. They catch the ball. They make you miss.
Why are they? Look, Tony White, you're smarter than me, obviously. Why so much cushion? What's the reason?
You've got an NFL DB, right?
Help me understand.
Tommy Hill's an NFL DB.
Lock them down.
Why is he not locking him down?
Like we talk about how Indiana, they play zone all the time because they probably don't have the athletes to match up man to man. They sure did yesterday. God dang it. I don't know what to say, dude. This game, what do you learn from this game? What do you learn? What did you guys learn? Like, if you're the team, if you're Matt Rule, if you're the assistant coaches, are you even putting this game on tape? Are you having the players watch this film? Like, what have you learned? Like, football-wise, schematically.
I don't know.
What have you learned?
I mean, to your point, like, especially during Illinois, but almost every game this year, I'm going, hey, instead of giving them 12 yards of cushion, because they are literally just doing little in routes or they're doing little out routes, like they're going all the way down the field with 6-yard passes.
Yep.
Let's maybe punch them at the line of scrimmage and make them fight for the ball. Like you said, you've got a lockdown cornerback, and Tommy Hill is was going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
And we can't, I don't know if it's a scheme thing. I'm not a coach. I don't know. But as just a general, like, watching it as somebody that's watches a lot of football, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me if they're only throwing 6-yard balls to give them 10 yards right out of the gate.
They call that bend and break defense.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Jeez.
Bend and break. We're going to bend and just give you everything in front of you. Keep it in front of us. Keep it in front of us until we run out of space, and then you score. That's what they did all game.
I just feel like this team, like, against Colorado, right? Like, you could tell, like, they were being the aggressor.
They were nasty.
They were bringing it, you know? Like, that should be every week. You guys, and maybe there's a Husker watching us. You guys play 12 games. That's all you have. What is the reason why you are not excited to play? You play 12 games.
That's it.
You have 4 years of your life to play.
Sometimes 5 or 6, but
Oh my God. True.
Or 9.
But it's like, what is
That Miami
this? This isn't baseball. It's not 162 where, like, oh, I feel like jogging to first base. You have 12 of these. That's if you don't make a bowl. Like, what is the excuse for not being excited to play and moping around?
And specifically this game. Against Indiana, a ranked team. You beat a ranked team for the first time. We had 25 straight losses against ranked teams. You end that streak. You win that game. You're bowl eligible for the first time in 8 years. You end the surrender white mystery. You end somewhat the Matt Rule can't beat ranked teams thing. This is the game. This is the one.
And everybody was talking about Indiana. Nobody was talking about Nebraska all week. Everybody was talking about Indiana, which should have fueled the fire. It should have. You know, it should have on paper.
How many times do we go into a game and, like, Nebraska's favored and, like, the Huskers feel pressure to win? That was not yesterday, dude. You were picked to lose. You're playing with house money, man. What do you have to be sad about?
What do you think is going to happen this week? I'm still, you are 25.5-point dogs.
Nebraska is not 5-2. Chat, go off. Nebraska's football team is not 5-2. Why, Mike? Why are they not 5-2? Because they are actually what?
They're going to be 5-3.
They are 5-3.
They will lose to Ohio State.
I have conceded, which makes me no better than the team yesterday, conceding to the opponent. But I'm just reacting like how you guys do on the field. I'm taking after you guys. I'm giving up. This is crap. I'm sorry, because you're coming off this. You're going to have a whole week of practice. You're 1 game away from a bowl. You're 1 win away from a bowl. And you're going to Columbus, Ohio. You know you're not winning that game.
Big noon kickoff. 100,000 people get to see Dylan Raiola not playing for Ohio State, playing for Nebraska. You got to remember that too. Dylan Raiola committed to Ohio State before he committed to Georgia, before he committed to Nebraska. This fan base, he's told this fan base that he loves this fan base. I want to play for you. And then he said, deuces.
We're going to be sitting here next week, still 1 win away from a bowl. And then we're going to be sitting here in 2 weeks and probably saying the same thing. And then in 3 weeks, and then in 4 weeks. I know I am very negative, and I'm sorry. I am a terrible counselor, terrible therapist. Just how I feel. Just how I feel.
I get concerned that if you can't get excited, you can't get physical for a game like Indiana, where you have all of this on the line. And there is, like, it's not the pressure on you. The pressure's on Indiana to win that game. You can't get it excited and physical for that game. Maybe Kyle Kubat's right. Maybe we do go 1-5 down the stretch.
Well, you got to find me that one though. That's the thing. Like we watched the debacle.
UCLA, guys.
UCLA had a great game this weekend. Did you guys see that?
Yeah,
Indeed.
Yeah, I would be real curious. We've got a ton of people in the chat.
Please.
I would be curious to know what is that one game for Nebraska? What is, if it wasn't Indiana, what is the one game in the last 5 games that we have? Which one is it?
Please be UCLA at home, right?
We're all going to pick UCLA.
It has to be. It has to be. That's the only one that you can go look at and be like, and you shouldn't, as a Husker fan, you should not do this ever again. Win. That's the only one that you're like, yeah, that's the best chance we have. You know, Wisconsin's playing the best football they played all year now.
Yep. They figured it out.
USC, they lost to Maryland yesterday, but guess what? We have to go to their house and play. Yeah. And it's probably going to be a primetime game or something because it's name brands.
It's going to be at 10 o'clock at night, Central Time.
Yeah. Can't wait. Can't wait.
We're going to wait all day for that game.
Yeah. So I look at it as like, okay, Ohio State. No. Then we've got UCLA.
Please.
And it's like, okay, well, they had a great weekend. They showed something that they haven't shown all year in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Sure. Then you move on. Who do we got?
Then it's USC.
At USC, 2 time zones away from here. I know people say that's not a factor. It is. 2 time zones away from here. High profile program. High flying. What we just literally witnessed at Indiana.
Coaching for his job. Sure. You know what? If Satterfield gets fired and Lincoln Riley gets fired, please call Lincoln Riley to be the OC here at Nebraska.
No, because then he's not going to want to run the ball.
I don't care.
I need someone that wants to run the dang ball. But then it's Whiskey.
Yeah, then it's Whiskey, who, by the way, has beaten us 10 times in a row.
Don't remind me.
So, I didn't know that.
So, sure, maybe winnable. But
on my wall.
The last 10 years have been winnable.
And then Iowa on the road, night game.
On Black Friday. Yeah.
Kinnick's going to be rocking.
Look at the record since we've been in the Big Ten against Iowa. And let me know
it ain't great.
How you're feeling about that.
It ain't great.
It's not great.
You know, it's in like, you see like USC and you're like, maybe. Because like Minnesota found a way and Maryland found a way. Why not us? Why not Nebraska? Why can't Nebraska have nice things?
If you want to beat USC or a team like USC, you're going to have to do what Indiana just did to Nebraska. And frankly, we have not shown that we're capable of doing that right now.
We don't have the staff to do that. We don't have the play caller to do what Indiana did to us.
Well, listen, Indiana played a full 4-quarter game across 2 different squads. Yeah. They had their starters and then all their backups in, and they were still moving the ball like it was no problem. I think they had 24 points or something like that with their backups in after the half. So it's like
embarrassing.
Yeah. So it's like Nebraska hasn't even done that with their starters, and Indiana did it with their starters and their backups.
I want to get off the schedule thing because they're losing Ohio State. Who cares?
Okay.
Got about 15 minutes left. So like a lot of talk going around about Big Sig, right? Kurt Signetti. I am wearing my Halloween shirt because like I see Signetti and I'm like, that's Michael Myers. No emotion.
Dude, yeah, straight face the whole time.
Killer. Dude's a killer. And look, we came into the season doubting him. Google me this, Google me that. We were making fun of him a little bit. Not going to lie. But there's like some debate going around. The way that Signetti is doing it, bringing in all these transfers versus the way that Matt Rule's doing it, where it's the slow cooker, right? The pot roast and the slow cooker for 3 years. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, the way that Signetti's doing it, what do you guys make of that?
I'd like to see, I know we were saying going into this week, you know, Indiana hasn't played anybody. And I think we could still say Indiana hasn't played anybody because I don't think Nebraska's a good team. I'd like to see what Big Sig does against Ohio State and Michigan because he has to play those teams. I want to see how they play. I don't even say they have to win the game. Michigan's not a good team either.
See, and that wouldn't even be fair to be like, Indiana better beat Ohio State. Well, that's not fair. But at least make it interesting, unlike Nebraska did.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I just want to see how they play against teams that are apparently not bad. Because so far they've played a lot of bad teams. and Nebraska's one of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I want to see what the record looks like at the end of the year.
Go on. Sorry.
They're going to a bowl game. So
Yeah, they are.
CFP maybe.
I'm quite possibly. I'm interested to see, and I know this sounds weird because we're going into week 8. I'm interested to see what Indiana looks like next season, and see if this is flash in the pan success with all his JMU transfers.
Right.
But it's also unfair for me to say it because you mentioned Nebraska is kind of that slow cooker. We are on year 10 of rebuilding years right now.
That power roast has been in there for 10 years.
Yeah, and we have not seen anything like what Indiana's doing right now. So, I mean, I might hate the flash in the pan success, but dude, I would take it.
Thank you, because there's people out there that say, well, this isn't sustainable. It's going to flame out. It's like,
at least it was fun while it lasted.
But like, Indiana has found 1 year to make it work. Nebraska can't find 1 year to make it work.
In a decade.
It's not sustainable. Cignetti's he's gonna have to recruit, and like they found a way to do it for 1 year. Nebraska can't do it.
You think this isn't a great sign for recruits that are looking at Indiana like, whoa, they just did that in 1 year with transfers from JMU? That coaching staff is, maybe competent and can do this with other guys?
Well, I mean, their backup quarterback played most of the game.
Yeah.
He came in and there was no fall off at all.
It was like Curtis Rourke was still in the game.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I even made that mistake. I'm like, why is Rourke still in? That's not him.
Oh, no.
Nope.
No, that's still the backup in.
Wow, their offense looks the exact same as it did before. It's kind of like when Ethan Kellick-Manis came in after we knocked out Tanner Morgan.
Same
no
thing.
drop off.
No drop off.
Weird.
Yeah, I do want to ask you guys, because people were kind of making a big deal about this. Thoughts on leaving Dylan Raiola in as late as we did yesterday? Does it matter?
I don't
Is
care.
it anything?
I don't care.
I hated it, honestly. I was upset. And I know it is no shock to any one of you guys that I really want to see Danny Kaelin. And when we're down 42, 49, and we can't pull our starter out, what does that say? Do we have any faith in any of the guys behind him? Mike, I think you mentioned before the show started that, you want to get Dylan those reps. But still, like, we're down 42 or 49. He might get injured. We've got 3 guys sitting behind him.
You know what's awesome, too? Is this was your opportunity to get Danny Kaelin in. Your boy.
Yeah.
Remember how we were like, well, during a blowout, maybe you can get him in and get him his reps, right?
This was it. If there's a
If
there's a bigger blowout this season, I don't know that I can do this counseling show anymore. If this is not the worst loss we have, I don't know if I'm qualified to counsel.
My Lord.
Let me put it this way.
Okay.
So Ohio State is, we'd like to say on paper, much better than Indiana. If we lose by 42 or 49 to Ohio State next week, that's an issue, because going into this game that you need to dominate time of possession and you need to keep Ohio State off the field. And when it's 4th down in your own side of the field, you probably have to punt, because Matt Rule said, well, the game got out of hand because I kept going for it on 4th down. I could have made it look a little bit better or whatever. No. You are playing Ohio State next week. If you do not punt and you are not holding the ball till 1 second left on the play clock, that's an issue.
Are you guys watching the game next week?
Yes, I'm watching the game. I love the pain.
I
love
love it myself, so yes.
It's going to be so bad.
Are you going to watch?
Yeah.
We're all gluttons for punishment.
But like, it's like I've heard some people say like, this is a very important week for Nebraska. They're coming off this loss and they're going to play a tough team in Ohio State. And it's like, I mean, they know they're going to lose. We know they're going to lose. Ohio State knows they're going to win. This is like a Urban Meyer game. And Kyle, you had said this a few weeks ago. Like, Urban Meyer came into Lincoln that 1 year and said, we are going to win. What do I want the score to be? It wasn't 62-3. It was like a lot to a little, whatever. Name your score. And it's like, so what do we expect from this Nebraska team though? Like, what do we expect? Like,
I don't know.
Do we, is it like, you guys remember Adrian's first year? They go to Ohio State.
And almost win.
36-31, right?
Right.
And we're sitting there after the game going, wow, progress has been made. 36-31. BS. Like, do we? I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what I want from this game.
I'd like that.
Should we just lose by a lot and just play our backups the whole game? Should we just start our backups? Oh my God, I know I shouldn't say that.
No.
I have one thing that I want out of this game.
I'm so negative today.
I don't want to get shut out.
Okay.
That's a low bar.
Okay.
Don't get shut out.
Yeah. We've got a comment in here. It says, what makes you think Nebraska is that bad? And maybe Indiana is just that good.
56-7.
I would say Rutgers 14-7. Purdue not getting anything going until the second half. I'm not saying Nebraska is the worst team in the country. I'm saying Nebraska is not as good as we think they are because they've proven it to us.
Yeah, at this point, we're 7 games in, and we've got proof. We've got the stats that we can look at. And there has not been one game this year that's been a complete game. You've lost to 2 of the good Power 4 teams that you've played. One, you got absolutely dismantled. So I think there's some, at least on my end, there's some serious concerns. And that's my diagnosis.
Yes, that's your diagnosis.
And
Who
he's got
commented?
a prescription?
It's John.
John?
Yeah.
John?
John who?
Just John.
Just John.
Just John.
Just John.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to
Indiana.
make sure it's not a John we know because I would.
John Hill. Indiana is not that good. They are not 50 points better than Nebraska. I'm sorry. They're not. We made them look that good.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, Indiana's just that good. Sure, but they're not. 56-7. Just let that sit with you, man.
I don't want to. I don't want to
sit in it like a
Sit in
dirty
it.
diaper.
You know, in therapy, they call this brain spotting. I'm going to play some really sentimental music. I'm going to put out this little like bead thing, and it's like a mesmerizing thing. Just sit in it. 56-7.
Right. So,
Meyer
so
it.
John.
Yeah.
Sit in it.
Sit in the pain, sit in the suffering.
Indiana might be a really good team,
Sure.
but they are not as good as they beat Nebraska.
So here's my question. We've mentioned this multiple times on the show so far, that Indiana could legitimately be looking at a CFP bid. Do you guys genuinely believe Indiana's a CFP team?
Maybe.
I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but we just have to get into this mode of college football where you're going to have teams that just aren't that great. They have these nice little seasons and like their schedule is favorable and you're going to be 7-0 going into November or whatever. And like, you're just going to have these types of seasons where these CFP teams aren't that great, but like they can be competitive.
Top 12.
Because
that's all I have to be.
every team in college football, you just have to be top 12, right?
Yeah.
The parity, the playing field. I mean, look, I'm sorry, but like Vanderbilt beats Alabama. I'm sorry. Like,
Right.
anything can happen.
Well, and we talked about it yesterday with our friend Brett. I told Brett, I said, I want to see how good Iowa State is. They haven't, like, their schedule is cupcake. Then they got to play UCF, and they somehow found a way to win.
They squeaked one out.
They squeaked one out with 30 seconds left. Like, even if Iowa State, right, when they make the playoff, because they probably will, because they have a very favorable schedule.
Sure.
When they make the playoff, it's like, do you think Iowa State is as good as a one-loss Ohio State team? Probably not.
No,
right?
they aren't.
And that's the issue that they have with the 14 playoff debate and stuff. Like, you could say Iowa State might be this year's Florida State.
Yeah.
Honestly. But there's an expanded playoff, so we actually get to see them prove it. They actually get to play the games.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the expanded playoff. And Indiana might be in that same boat. They might be fool's gold. We don't know.
Yeah.
But they actually get to play real teams, though.
Mm-hmm.
They get to play Michigan. They get to play Ohio State. So that they will show their colors when they're given that opportunity.
That's right. Yeah. So
Fair
it's
enough.
definitely possible. And hey, maybe Nebraska in one of these years, even if their team isn't that great, you know, they get a favorable schedule and they get off to a 7-0 start. It's possible, man. Or is it?
No.
No.
No. We had a favorable schedule this year.
Yeah.
Nebraska
We don't get
can't-
nice things.
Nebraska can't find 1 year.
Thankfully.
1 year to just be awesome.
Well, Illinois did beat Michigan, reigning national champion. So
Yeah.
maybe Illinois is really good. And we lost to Indiana, who's undefeated. So maybe Indiana is really good. So maybe Nebraska is not that bad. John, maybe that's it. Maybe what you should rephrase is maybe Nebraska isn't as bad as we think. Maybe we've been playing very good teams. I highly doubt it, because even when we played the bad teams, we haven't looked dominant or great.
Right.
So I've got 7 games of evidence to tell me that I'm probably right and you're probably wrong.
Yeah. You know, this a situation? I think it was like Scott Frost's like second year, and they played like 8 teams that ended up going like 9 and something on the year.
Right.
Is this a situation where everybody that we're going to play this year is just going, 9, 10 wins at the end? Like who knows? But I think that Nebraska should have been in this conversation where it's like their opponents are saying, well, you know what? Hey, is Nebraska going to go 9, 10 wins this year? Like, are they that good of a team? I think that's where the conversation should have been at this point. So,
but I don't know. But no, 56-7.
Stop saying it.
Yeah.
Like, that's so embarrassing. Like, we're sitting here, Nebraska they get on prime time and they just crap the bed, dude.
Yeah.
All the time. It looked like for Melvin Gordon. There he goes.
Yeah.
Well, and if you guys haven't read it yet, we just dropped an article for one of our writers, Eric, and on mbnrpodcast.com. He talks about it. We are at the highest of the highs when we beat Colorado, prime time, prime in town, all that stuff. And we win. We thought we were finally turning the corner. We were finally getting over that hump.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday tells you we obviously are not. We are not.
We still mope around.
Just a lot of speed bumps on this road.
Lots of mental demons to fight off still.
I thought we were getting over that. I really did.
Oh well.
We come out against Colorado. Everybody's watching. You beat them. You dismantle them. It's like maybe they've gotten over the hump. But then Jamari Butler's quote, it's like, still?
And we've heard those quotes in the past. I don't
Any
know
more
about from Jamari, but any more comments before we
and a him of all people.
I know.
All right. God. We got to stop this.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got 3 minutes.
I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
It's hot. I
I
want to quit.
I'm just looking through here real quick.
I'm done.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the last thing we can probably touch on just real quick, because we've only got like 3 minutes, is BA says 5-2 is 5-2, 5-2.
They're not 5-2.
He said, I'm not willing to say this team is bad yet. Terrible performance yesterday and huge flaws, but 5-2 is not bad. 5-2 is not bad.
They're not 5-2.
What is right? We get it. Come.
Do we though? Do we?
As if this
we're talking about we're 5-2 right now.
Quite literally, yes. We are 5-2.
No, we're not.
So what I'm trying to say on the 5-2 is that there are clear issues.
Yes.
We have not played. We're 5-2, right? That means we've played 7 games. We've not played 4 quarters in one of those games.
I love that.
We've not played one full game in 7 games.
Yes.
Right. So that is bad. That's bad. That's just flat out bad.
Yes.
No matter how you put it, that is bad.
Yes.
So I think that's my number one takeaway from this Cornhusker counseling session is we're still not playing.
We're chasing 4, actually. We're chasing playing 4 quarters of football. We have not done it yet. Will Compton comes on and does his little dance and twerks and says, play 4 quarters of Smash Mouth. We haven't played 4 quarters of Smash Mouth. We haven't played 4 quarters of regular football, let alone Smash Mouth football. So
is that our prescription for this week?
The prescription.
Give us 4 quarters.
Give us 4 quarters. And against Ohio State, just don't lose by 49. Let's just tell the listeners that we've got 300 plus people in here.
459.
459 of you. If you are not doing it already, make sure you guys go follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. We do our show tomorrow at 6:00 on Mondays.
Damn it.
It is unfiltered.
It is unfiltered. So if you liked what you heard today or you really hated it, but you want to hear more, that's where you can hear more of it. We appreciate Hurrdat for giving us this platform. To do Cornhusker Counseling. And if you guys haven't gone to their bar and grill, check it out. They've got Sunday specials. The Sunday slate is going to kick off here in 1 minute. So I think we sign off. This has been a tough therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might need therapy after we're done with it. But
the therapists need the therapy for sure.
Absolutely. But let's just freaking sign off, guys.
Yeah, look, let's end this counseling session. We'll see you next week. We'll talk about our traumas and triumphs and traumas and traumas and traumas. Again, I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hull.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cavalack.
Kyle Byers.
As always, beat Ohio State.